So, Shop Apps, first of all, this is us. It's me, Shirley, and Asaf. We are the one that's running the app. In the agenda today, I'm going to walk you through how to use the app, how you can import all of your Etsy listings into Shopify, how you can export your Shopify listing into Etsy, and how you can avoid overselling, making sure that all your quantity are synced, and manage your order across Etsy and Shopify. Okay, so exactly what do we do? So we allow you to import all of your Etsy listing into Shopify. This is if you're running an Etsy store and you need to import your listing into Shopify. Okay, so this is really for initial loading. If you're running any Etsy store and you want right now to start using Shopify to sell on Shopify as well. Once you imported all of your Etsy listings into Shopify, then the best practice is to start using Shopify as your source of truth. Creating new listings, update quantities, any changes that you need to do it on Shopify, and the app will update Etsy. Okay, I will show you how it's done. Managing orders and sync quantities. So we also encourage you to consolidate all of your orders inside Shopify. Okay, why is that important? It's important because you want, just a second, let me prove. It is important because you want to see all of your orders from Etsy and from Shopify, see what works, what are the best sellers. This is a great place to use Shopify reporting, and this is how you can understand what is the best way to manage your inventory and also your sales. Sync quantities, it's also very important that you will not oversell. Okay, we have SKUs. I will elaborate it in a second, but the goal is to make sure that you're not running out of stock. Our app will make sure that your quantities will be aligned between Shopify and Etsy. So those are the main reasons why you need to use an app to manage your inventory once you decided that you want to start managing two stores, okay? Etsy and Shopify. You don't have the time to upload images, manage quantities. So use Shopify again as your source of truth. And it will save you a lot of time, okay? It also will help you to get your customer base from Etsy into Shopify. Every order that is created on Etsy, you don't have direct access to the customer email, first name, last name, all the relevant information that you would like to contact them later on, okay? This is also one critical information that you want to manage all of your customers' base inside Shopify, okay? So even if you don't have to import your listing, your orders into Shopify, you want to know who are the sellers and who are the end users that purchase from your store, okay? So it's also relevant if you're print-on-demand seller, if you're doing drop shipping, if you're custom-made seller, okay? So those are really the type of customers that we have. As mentioned, each type of customer, each type of seller has its own needs. Okay, so custom made, they have limited stock, so quantity sync is super critical. Also, export listing, okay? They don't have the time to run their inventory on both stores. Working with suppliers, drop shipping, so automating your order is a must. Once you're getting an order on Etsy, then we import it into Shopify. I will show you how it works in a second. but you have to automate this process, okay? There are a lot of drop shipping and external apps that know to connect you with other suppliers. So we help you to import your Etsy order into Shopify, and from there, they can go to the drop shipping or to the relevant supplier. They can fulfill it, and we're updating Etsy with the relevant tracking number. And it also helps you if you're running print on demand. So you can create your listings in Printify, for example, export into Shopify, and from Shopify, we will export it to Etsy and also manage the orders. So before we will start, I want to highlight very important basic information that is a must to use our app. SKU, okay? SKU. What is SKU? SKU is unique identifier of the listing. It means that for each of your listings or variation, you have to set unique SKU, okay? SKU, it can be a random number, but it's better to have a humanized text, so it will be easy to search. So as you can see here, if it's red and small, so you have shoes small, red, and you can add a number to make it unique in case you have multiple red small shoes. Okay, so SKU has to be unique in the same listing. So if I'm now in a specific listing, the SKU needs to be unique. Okay, same goes, this is on Etsy and this is how it looks on Shopify. SKU has to be unique. They need to be aligned between Etsy and Shopify. And you can also use the same SKU, but on a different listing. So you cannot reuse it in the same listing on different variations. So if I have this listing, red small, red medium, I cannot use the same SKU. I need to use different SKU. But I can duplicate this listing and reuse this SKU in another listing, okay? And we will think the quantities so you will not oversell. Okay, so let's start right now with the import listing. Import listing, as mentioned, if you're running an Etsy store and you already have those listings with the images, with reviews, with quantity, with price, all these things, and you just want to enhance your sales channels and start selling on Shopify. So you need to import your Etsy listing into Shopify. It's best to set SKUs before the import. Okay, as mentioned, in order to start managing inventory on both stores, you have to have SKUs. So I suggest, it's not a must, okay? The import will work if you don't have SKU, but later on, you will need to update the SKUs in order to start managing the orders and managing the quantities and export listings. Okay, so my recommendation is to set SKUs before you import. It will create new listings on Shopify and will also update the quantity for all of your listings and variations. Once you will import all of your Etsy listings into Shopify, then you need to start managing all of your listings in Shopify. As mentioned, Shopify is your source of truth. So later on, I will show you the export listing wizard. So this is how it works. You have Etsy store, import all of your Etsy listings into Shopify. Once all of your Shopify, all of your Etsy listings are in Shopify, then you can start managing all of your listings on Shopify, create new listings, update quantities, delete listings, all of those on the Shopify. Okay, so as mentioned, you don't have to set SKUs. And let's get started. So those are, here you can see all the data that we will import from Etsy into Shopify. So it's images, weight, SKUs, tags, description, title, all the things that you see in here. Okay, so let's get started with the demo. I will switch into Shopify and I will walk you through how you can get into the app. So you're clicking here on apps and here. 1 second, I will also enter our new guest. Okay, so this is how ShopApps looks like, okay? You can find it in the marketplace. As you can see here, you just click on Etsy, and then you can see our logo. You can click and install the app. Once you installed it, you will see our dashboard. Welcome to ShopApps, and here you have the import listings, export listings, order sync, and quantity sync. So we're starting with this. Okay, sorry, I'm not sure that you've seen it. Let me share it so you will be able to see it right now. Okay, perfect. So this is our dashboard, okay? Welcome to ShopApps. When I clicked on the app, I have Etsy Sync integration by ShopApps. I'm clicking here. Now you can see all the relevant capabilities. I have export listings, import listings, order sync, and quantity sync. Now we will start with the import listings. Okay, so this is our import listing wizard. We have 2 tabs here. Sync listing, which is the wizard. It means what listings you want to import from Etsy into Shopify. And then you also have the sync history tab. This is how you can track and see what are the listings that were imported. In case you will have any errors, then you will see here a red sign, a red triangle with an error message that you will be able to click and see the issue, okay? I will also elaborate about the common issue. So let's start. So Etsy category, it means I will show you how Etsy looks like on my end. But before that, let's fill the form. So I want to select the relevant Etsy category. As you can see here, I have the full list and I will select accessories. In my case, I want to import all of Etsy accessories. And I also want to import all of my listings in all of the statuses. You can also select just one status. If you just want to import your active listings or your draft, you can select the relevant type of listing. And this is into where Shopify category you want to import your Etsy listings, okay? So I can select whatever type that I want. And Shopify location, okay? So it means to what location in Shopify I want to import those listings. We will also talk about location on the quantity sync because we also allow you to sync quantities for specific location, okay? You don't have to sync it through all of your locations. So this is Shopify location and the collection. This is the collection that I want to import all of my Etsy listings. Later on, after you've done the import, you can decide, you can switch, don't worry about it, okay? Our entire goal is, first of all, to import all of the listings. Tags, you can decide if you want to import the tags, yes or no. And you can export up to 100 variations per listing, okay? If you have lots of variations on Etsy, so please tick this box, okay? Because Shopify allows you up to 100 variations. So now, once we submitted all of the required fields, we're now looking in real time at your Etsy store, and we want to bring all the relevant data. So as you can see, it is now loading. We're trying to find all of your listings, and it found 25 listings to import. Now I will click on import now. Okay, right now we're starting the import process. It can take a minute, two, depends of the number of listings that we want to import. In the meanwhile, I will take you into Etsy. This is how you can see the listings that I have. For example, I have Lovely Box. This is my active listing. As you recall, I tried to import all of the Etsy in all of the statuses, not just the active ones, but I just wanted to show you the category because it is critical. This is the category. The category that I selected was accessories, and I wanted to bring all of the listings in all of the statuses into Shopify, okay? So this is the really important thing to note, where you need to look at when you want to import. You need to select the relevant category. Okay, perfect. So now let's jump into Shopify. The process is now running. We're now importing all of the listings that I have in the accessories category. As you can see, it is running and it is syncing, okay? Let's give it a few more seconds to run, and then we will be able to see the sync log. You also have here learn more. If you have any questions, you can click, it will open our documentation, and you can see we also have videos. Perfect, so now it's completed. It tells me to click on Sync History tab. I can also click here. And here I can see all the relevant listings that were imported. Perfect, and I see that this is the Etsy listing, and it was imported to this Shopify listing. I can also click on this, and I can open it and see the listing in Shopify. Okay, as you can see, this was Etsy listing that I imported with the description, with the images, with the price, with all of the relevant information that I have, with the SKU, with the location, and all the relevant information that I needed. Perfect, so now let's continue. This was the import. One thing that I just want to note, in case you have an error, the common error is that you already have a listing in Shopify with this title, okay? So it will tell you that you have handler that already exists. Then just please make sure that you're not using the same title in Shopify because it can cause to this error. Okay. So now let's see about the export listings. So once I imported all of the listings into Shopify, as mentioned, I want to use Shopify as the source of truth. Okay, let me just invite. Okay. Perfect. So once I have all the listings, now I can start creating new listings in Shopify. And then the important thing to note is that now I have to set SKUs to all of the listings and variations. As you can see here, I have SKU inside Shopify, and I have to make sure that it's there. I will show you also in Shopify how it looks like in a minute. So this SKU needs to be new. It means that this SKU should not exist on Etsy if I want to create it on Etsy. So you need to provide unique SKU, okay? Please make sure, I will also show you how to validate to make sure that this SKU doesn't exist on Etsy. Once I created it, then I can start export the listing. Okay, how do I do it? So first of all, I need to create fixed shipping profile. Okay, in order to create a listing on Etsy, I have to create this fixed shipping profile. Let me walk you through it. Okay, I will go to Etsy. Okay, in Etsy, I will go to settings. Okay, settings, delivery settings. Again, it's just for the export. Once you exported your listing, then you can change it to whatever type of listing that you want. I will now create a profile. You can see here, those are all of the shipping profiles that I have. By the way, it depends where you're located. Sometimes Etsy has a bit of a difference with the UI for UK and US. Sometimes it call it a shipping delivery setting. Sometimes it has a bit of a different naming, but this is how you can go there. You click on settings and then you look for the delivery. So as you can see here, I have fixed shipping profile. I have here the label fixed. If it's fixed, it means that I can use it for the export. Sometimes you will have calculated, okay? Please make sure that you have just one fixed for the export. Once you exported the listing, then you can go and edit it, okay? So let me walk you through how to create it. I can create a profile. I select the relevant country. I put my postal code, for example, processing time. And what is important is that you create it, what you will charge, okay? So here you need to select fixed price, okay? And delivery time, and this is it, save profile, okay? This is test webinar, for example. Okay, save profile. Perfect. Once I created this fixed shipping profile, okay, I see that it's kind of stuck here. Okay, once it's been created, then I will go into my export listing wizard, and now I can start exporting my listings. Okay. Now I'm going into the export listings. I can either use my dashboard, and you can see also my left menu, export. And now I want to decide what listings I want to export. So this is where to I want to export my listing. To what Etsy category? As you can see here, we have the branches. Okay, so you can select shoes, and then you can select kids shoes, and then boots, and then you don't have an additional category. But you can select whatever category that is required, okay, based on your needs. And here I have the type of a fixed shipping profile. As mentioned, not calculated. Okay, now you have the options either to select one by one, okay? So here you can select multiple listings that I want to export, okay? This is one option. Or I can decide to export my entire collection, okay? One collections or more, okay? One or more collection. In my case, I want to export just one, and I will show you. This is September. I want to export it. Okay, perfect. Now I have the tags. I will elaborate also on the tags. So tags in Shopify are meant to help you organize all of your listings. It doesn't have SEO implication versus Etsy tags that helps you for ads, for SEO. It is very important how you will be positioned in the Etsy marketplace. So just please note that I know that a lot of time you're trying to export the tags, but please make sure that when you export it on Etsy, it is really aligned with Etsy SEO, so it will be easier for you to be searched and found. so clients will be able to find your listing. On Etsy, you have multiple limitations regarding tags that you do not have on Shopify. The tags can be up to 20 characters, and you can have up to 13 types of tags. I mean, in specific listing, you can have up to 13 tags. You do not have this limitation in Shopify, okay? So you may see this error regarding tags. If you will decide, you can uncheck it, okay? Or you can keep it. If you will see an error, then you can retry to export without the tags in case you have a long list of tags or the tags are too long. Fixed quantity. So you can either export with the existing quantity that you currently have inside Shopify. Okay, so let's say that I have a listing of this red shoe with quantity 10. So I want Etsy also to have this 10 quantity. And then I want to align between them, and it will make sure that I will not oversell. But maybe your print on demand that you have unlimited stock, okay? So you can set in Shopify to have unlimited stock, but on Etsy you cannot, okay? On Etsy you can provide either a quantity between 1 till 999, okay? That means that if you have 0, you will get an error. Etsy will not be able to create this listing. If you will have unlimited or more than 999, if I will try to export with 1000, okay? As you can see here, the error message, you are not able to export it. So if you are dealing with unlimited, so you can put the maximum, which is 999. Of course, it is recommended for better sales not to put this number. It's more, to show urgency. It's better to have lower quantities, so clients will not hesitate that much. But again, it's based on your preferences. In my case, I want to export the listing as is. Whatever number that I will put here will apply to all of the variations that I will send, okay? In my case, I want to export this listing as is in Shopify. Perfect, so now I clicked on export. The total listing that I want to export is 1. I want to export it into Etsy category to jewelry and export Etsy shipping profile, okay? This is the template. Now export. This process can also take up to 10 minutes. It depends how many listings you're trying to export. Perfect, so now let's click on it. And I will go into the sync history to see what's happened. Okay, I see here amazing shoes, and I see here an error, okay? It did not succeed. Why? Because this SKU already exists in Etsy, okay? So I need to go to Etsy and also see if this SKU exists on Etsy. As I mentioned, you cannot export the same listing into Etsy, okay? So this is why it's very important to make sure that the listing is not does not exist on Etsy, okay? If it succeeded, then this is how you're gonna see it, okay? This is the listing, and then I will be able to export it into Etsy. Let me share. So you will be able to click to see those amazing shoes. As you can see, it already exists on my Etsy because previously I exported. So you can see this is the listing on Etsy. Those are the images. I will also show you the images on Shopify. So those are the SKUs, as you can see. Those are also the variations. It's important when you click on manage variations, you can see here in the settings to provide prices per variation, quantities per variation, and SKU per variation, okay? Why? Because we want to align the structure in Shopify to be similar to the structure in Etsy, okay? And in order for them to match, you have to check all those options. Now, I will show you the listing that is on Shopify. So you can see that it's the same listing. 1 second. Now I'm opening Shopify. You can see amazing shoes, September 24. Okay. You can see the description, the same images, the same variations. I can click and then you can see that it's the same. Okay, perfect. So this was the export. Now let's move forward. I just want to highlight, make sure that the SKU are unique. Price on Etsy has to be more than 0.2 cents. Quantities between 1 to 999. Shipping profile has to be created. Tags as well. As I explained, you can export up to 13 tags per listing on Etsy. You can have up to 20 characters on Etsy per tag, okay? So those are the main Etsy limitations. Now, those are the export listings. We've talked about the demo. The error messages, I also showed you how error message looks like. And quantity sync. Okay, so quantity sync is also super important. You want to make sure that your quantities are aligned. We're syncing quantities every 20 minutes, okay? So it means that once you got an order on Etsy and the quantity reduced by 1, then after 20 minutes, we will go and update your Shopify SKU, vice versa, okay? I want to highlight multiple things. So quantity sync, we have multiple ways to update. You can either select the option to have bi-directional sync, or just one way, like you're saying, Shopify is my source of truth. I don't want Etsy to update Shopify. For example, if you're print on demand, then you have unlimited stock. There is no reason for you that Etsy will update Shopify because you have unlimited stock, okay? So it really depends on your need. Duplicate SKUs, as mentioned, you can use the same SKU on different listings, on different variations. But we will make sure that those SKUs are also updated. So if I have, for example, this shirt for November sale and also for Christmas, I have this listing twice. So we will make sure to go over all of your SKUs in all of the different listings and we will update it, okay? So the inventory overview. Let's go into the dashboard. Again, I will switch to the app. I will go to the app. 1 second. Okay. Going to the app. Right now, I will click on inventory. Okay. And inside the inventory, I can see here all of my listings in Etsy and Shopify side by side. So here I see those shoes. Those are the quantity. They are aligned, as you can see. I can also filter here for specific SKU. And this is how I can see all the listings. And sometimes I will also have SKU that only exist on Etsy or only exist on Shopify. That's fine, okay? I'm getting asked a lot of times, do I have to have all the listings in both stores? The answer is no, you don't have to. You can decide to sell specific listings on Etsy or on Shopify. We're only looking for matching SKUs and we will update it, okay? But if we don't find it on both stores, then we just ignore it, okay? And maybe you also have duplicate listing only on Shopify. And so we will also make sure that this SKU will be updated if you have multiple listings of the same SKU in one store. We will also make sure that this listing is updated. Okay, so you don't have to have the same listing on both platforms. Okay, so this is the inventory. This is how it looks like. When you see here, for example, that you have this number twice, it means that this SKU exists twice on Shopify. Okay, so this is how duplicate looks like. So this is the inventory. As mentioned, we update quantities every 20 minutes. Okay, so now let's talk about the error. If there is missing SKU on Etsy, then you will see this red sign. It will tell you that listing doesn't have SKU, okay? As mentioned, if you want us to sync the order or to export listing or to sync quantities, then you need to make sure that this SKU exists, okay? If you don't need it, then it's okay. The initial sync, okay? If it's the first time that you ever install the app, then we want you to align the quantities between both of your stores, okay? So the only thing that you need to decide is who you want in the first time, only at the first time, is what direction you want. Bi-direction, or that Shopify will update Etsy, or Etsy will update Shopify, okay? So you will select the relevant option for you. It is best to export quantities before this operation, so you will have a backup and you will know what were the original quantities. It will send you a CSV file to your email, so you will be able to have a backup. So as mentioned, you have the option to update quantities by direction or one direction. Let's go over the advanced settings. In the advanced settings, you have the quantity update. After the initial sync, you can decide that once I updated Etsy and Shopify based on Shopify, going forward, I want it to be bi-directional. Or you can decide that going forward, you want only one way, Etsy to update Shopify or vice versa. So please click on advanced settings, make sure that your settings are aligned with your needs. You also have the location in the advanced settings. Location means that you want, for example, you run two warehouses, one in Canada, one in US. You want Etsy to align only with your Canada warehouse. So you can select here the relevant location and it will sync only the quantities of this location. This is important trick that you have in order to make sure that you are not having any missing SKUs or typos. Then click on the export quantities. Again, it will send you the CSV file. Then you can see differences. If there is a missing SKU, it will show you. You can easily filter in the CSV and find any gaps. So those are basically the main thing. The only thing that I want to note is when a listing is sold out on Etsy, it means that the last sale was on Etsy and the status of the listing is now sold out. If you need to reactivate it, okay, then you manually need to reactivate it on Etsy and our app will update Shopify. All of the other statuses you can update on Shopify and we will update Etsy automatically for you. Okay, if you have bi-directional, you can decide where you want to update on Etsy or on Shopify. That's fine, just sold out. Please note, there is no API to activate sold out listing on Etsy. So basically, this is it. Those are the locations. Please know that you can select one location. Inside Shopify, you can configure all the locations that you have. The direction, as mentioned, you have 3 options, so feel free to use it. This is basically our main capabilities. Of course, we also have the order sync. As mentioned, it is great for drop shipping, for print-on-demand sellers. Once an order is created, okay? So once order is created, after 20 minutes, we import it into Shopify. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Let me just put on mute. If any one of you are now out of mute, please let me mute. Okay, sorry about that. So the order sync, let's talk about it for a second. You have the order. Now an order has been created on Etsy. What we're doing is we're importing it into Shopify. And then you can see in Shopify order that we imported, you can see Etsy receipt and Etsy order ID, okay? We also tag it as Etsy, okay? So you will know that this import was created on Etsy. It's important also to note that Shopify does not charge on this imported order. They charge only for orders that were processed and paid on Shopify, okay? So those orders are replicated into Etsy. You have to make sure that all of your order SKU exist both on Etsy and Shopify in order to successfully import it. Then inside our app, you have the orders tab, okay? In the order, you can see here all Etsy orders. And in case there is any error, the common error is missing SKU, okay? Then you will see here the error message with the missing SKU. Once you found this, the reason that the order was not imported, then you can go to Etsy or to Shopify, add the relevant missing SKU, and then you can click here on resync. It will re-import the order, okay? And then the order will be imported successfully. Once all the orders were imported, then as mentioned, it will be part of your Shopify order, so you can analyze, you can fulfill, you can decide how you want to deal with it. And in the tags filter, then you will see, you can search based on Etsy, okay? Inside Shopify, in the orders, go to the filter, look for tags and write Etsy, then you can see all the imported Etsy orders. So those are all of the attributes that we import for the orders, the amount, the customer name, which is super important, so you will be able to store your customer base, personalization, gift messages, all kind of buyer notes. You can also decide if you want to import the order with the tax or without the tax, okay? It depends in your country, in your state. So this is another option that you have. This is how the advanced settings screen look like on the order settings. You can either enable it or disable it. You can decide to ignore tags or not. Duplicate, it means that if you have this SKU more than once, you say, I don't want to import this order because you don't know what is the specific listing that the user selected. Usually it's enabled, okay, most times. And the fulfilled, it's also very important. What it means, it's once the order is imported from Etsy to Shopify, then you fulfilled it, okay? Some sellers have tracking number and they want to update Etsy with this tracking number, okay? So you can select to submit to update Etsy with the tracking number, only once you submit Shopify tracking number. Or you can say, I don't have all the time the tracking number. If I have, then update. If I don't have, then just update Etsy order as fulfilled without the tracking number. This is option 2. Option 3, it means just import the listing. I do not want to update Etsy order as fulfilled. So you have those 3 options as well. This is how the advanced settings look like. This is the quantity sync section. We already discussed about it. And coming soon that I'm very excited to share. We've been working about it, about the pricing update. It will be part of our export listing wizard. Export listing currently only create listing on Etsy. We also want to start enhancing and update, be able to allow you to to update all of Etsy price based on SKUs in a batch, okay? So you can say, now this is Christmas, I want to increase all of my Etsy listings in 10%. So you will be able to easily do it. Of course, I will share once it will be done. Okay, perfect. So I hope that, it helped you. I'm here, Shirley, at shopups.com. Happy to assist you anytime. So feel free to contact me, ask questions, give us feedback. Always super, super appreciated. So thank you very much. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, perfect. So thank you for coming, and good luck with your sales. Bye-bye. איך זה?